Alrighty, we have a very interesting junction box up here, and they used a ground clip here, and I don't really like that, but I'm going to check the connections, and I'm going to show you the ideal way to rewire this junction box and put the cover on it. Alrighty, so first we'll look at our connections here and see what we have. I see we have a wire that's taped up here. I'll take this wire nut off. And here's our taped wire. So we can take our tape off of it and see if we can because there's probably a bare spot under here. So I'm going to cut it back to the top of our bare spot there, and I'll strip it back with our number 12 hole. Get all our, what I'll do is I'll strip our solid wires here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to twist our two number 12s together here. Get our insulation even at the top here. We'll twist them together evenly with our pliers here. See how we got our insulation even at the top and our copper even at the bottom? And then we'll take our stranded wire, get our insulation even at the top, our copper even at the bottom, and just lay it up side by side there evenly. Take our wire nut and we will just twist it on and make sure our insulation is going up into the bottom of the cap. So there's our blacks together. I'll get that out of our way here. Now look at our white wires and see how they did hooking these up. I'm going to hold this even here so you can see what it looks like when I take this off. Wow, they looked okay. I'll just get them back on here so they're even, like that. Take our wire nut and let's put it back on here. I'm not going to squeeze on this wire nut, I'm just going to turn it so that it's nice and tight. Okay, so we can get our white wire folded back in here so it's out of our way. I'll take this apart here. I'm going to do it this way so you guys can see what it looks like when I take the wire nut off. They were okay. So I'm going to take these wires, I'm going to get these all out of our way here. And there is a threaded hole back here for the green screw. So I'm going to take, I'm going to put a green screw back in here to ground our box. So this is our green ground screw. So we're going to put it back here in the back of our box. nice to lose it, isn't it? I love losing stuff. Okay, so we'll put it in. Now they have a ground clip here where they grounded it to the box. But what I don't like about this ground clip is when you put the cover on it, it leaves a gap between the, you can see how there's a gap between that and the side of the box there. So I'm going to take the ground clip off and I'm going to put the ground wire tail up. Pull our white wire back out again here. We'll make sure you get all that paper and debris out of there. So make a, they do have a crimp sleeve on there. You can see the crimp sleeve back in there. So they did that part right. So we're going to make a loop the direction our screw turns. Maui is in Hawaii. And we'll get it back in here. So I'm going to jump down and get my needle nose pliers. And we'll close our loop the direction that our screw turns here. Like that. And we'll tighten it up. Now make our loop a little bit better there. I'll just push our ground wire back like this. Close it better there. Make sure we're not overlapping. Okay, there. Now we got our box grounded. And now I can fold these wires back in here. And we want to make sure that our cover screws don't hit the wires. These are the first ones I did here. Now we'll connect these back up. So you might want to strip these a little longer so you get a nicer wrap and twist. Here in the country I was born in, we use 12 American wire gauge. 12 American wire gauge on 20 amps, 14 American wire gauge on 15 amps. Black is live, white is neutral, the bare, the green is the ground. Red and blue are also live colors. However, you may find white live in a 110, 120 volt switch loop or in a 220, 240 volt circuit, such as what we have right here. So we'll get our first two, we'll get our wires twisted, get them, our first two started, get them nice and even there like that. We'll bring our third one in. Get our wires even. Twist them so they're all nice and even. We'll cut them so they're even with the shortest one. Okay, all three wires are even there, so we can take our wire nut, we'll just twist it on here. I hope I have some red or black tape because I'll remark these two white wires live. But if I don't, you know what? I don't. I'm not going to complain. If I don't have something, I don't have it. Alrighty, so according to the NEC, you have to remark your white wire when you're using it as a live wire. So we're going to remark it with some red tape here. This will let people know that this is a 220 240 volt circuit. So there's those white wires remarked, and we'll get this one remarked here. Okay, so now we have our wires all remarked, and now we can fold our wires back into our box. Get them all back out of the way here so that they don't get pinched on anything. And we want to make sure our cover screws are not going to hit any of the wires. And nothing's going to be pinched when we put our cover back on. So now we can put our cover on our box here. Alrighty, so that is how to wire a 220 240 volt junction box here in the country I was born in. We use 14 American wire gauge on 15 amps, 12 American wire gauge on 20 amps, 10 American wire gauge on 30 amps. Black is live, white is neutral, the bare or the green is the ground. Red and blue are also live colors, however you may find white live in a 220 240 volt circuit like we did here, and we marked our white wire live with the red tape. You can also find it white live on a 110 120 volt switch loop, and you should remark it with a piece of red or black electrical tape. Peace. Thanks for watching.